Hey everybody! It's Masterfeja again. We're doing another. No, what the fuck is this?
Force of World deck profile.
Yeah, another Force of World deck profile. If you guys don't recognize that voice, that's a buddy of mine, and he's gonna introduce himself.
I am Dayman, fighter of Nightman.
Yes, he is Dayman, fighter of Nightman, and he's actually both my greatest inspiration and my biggest piss off when it comes to playing this freaking game, because every time I come up with a cool idea, he's like, yes, but here is better way of doing game. And I'm like, Dimitri, why you be so mean to me? I tried to play Force of Will, but you're being Force of Dick.
And that's what friends do.
Pretty much. Okay, so for anybody who's either new to this game or whatever, this is Charlotte, the determined girl, who's one of the new J/rulers from the Curse of the Frozen Casket. And I think up until recently, when people found how to break Feith Sing, she was probably the most competitive out of the new ones.
In the worlds, I think it was, or something like that, when they only played within this set, it was, I think it was out of 8, I think there was top 8, she was like 6 out of 8 people played her.
Yeah. And
at least.
There's
and
like,
if they didn't play her, they were in her sideboard.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna let Dayman here, fighter of the Nightman, just take over.
Oh god, I hope people get that joke. So yeah, it's a very widely used ruler. A lot of people use a cookie cutter kind of deck with it, but it works well. And if you want something, you don't have to go all multicolor. You can do it within one color, but you know, splashing other colors is good. So she works by, so first of all, her judgment is super low, which is fantastic. Comes with Energize, and her ability of pay a blue and discard a card to rest target resonator is super relevant. So her flip side, so she's relatively weaker power-wise, but she cannot be attacked, which is fantastic. When this card, and so that ability is kind of weirdly worded. So what it equivalates to basically is when you flip her, you draw cards until you have 5. So if you have 1 card, you draw 4. If you have 2 cards, you draw 3. If you have 5 cards, you draw none, kind of thing. Whenever you draw a card, you gain 100 life. And once it's flipped, you pay 2 mana and discard a card to return target resonator to its owner's hand. So you can use that for your own, you can use it to return theirs. Either way, it works really well. So first off, I'm going to start with my stone base. So I like to run it with pretty reliable amount of mana. I usually run, so this deck consists of blue, green, and black, with blue as your main color. So I run 4 Magic Stone of Deepwood, provides, yes, I know.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how deep would you say that wood goes?
Oh, so deep.
On a scale from 1 to Subway.
So this provides green and blue, which is 2 of your more so main colors. Black is kind of a 3rd color there. Then you got 4 Magic Stone of Dark Depths, black, blue. And then just 2 Magic Stone of Black Silence, providing green, black. So in total, you have access to 8 blue, 6 black, and 6 green. Get out of here. Giving you pretty balanced mana. I've never really been mana screwed with it. So I'm starting off with the resonators, your 1-drops. You have this thing, you see it everywhere. Tama, Familiar of Holy Wind. When this card enters your field, draw a card. You can banish it at any time to deal 200 damage to target resonator. It's pretty handy, especially with one of the most used cards in this deck. We'll get to it later and talk about the interaction. Then you play 4 Slayer of the Overworld, or Overlord, Persea. So this card is kind of weird. Not a lot of people understand the shift mechanic with it. So you play it. So in your deck, it has to be this side up. And you can either play it for 2 blue and a colorless on its other side, or for a green and 1, and then shift it once it's in play to the other side. So this side is the side we use the most. When this card enters your field, this card and target J/Resonator your opponent controls deal damage equal to their attack to each other. And on top of that, you can pay 1 mana to buff it.
That's awesome, man. So it's J/Resonator?
Yeah, so you can fight another
Oh my god,
J/Resonator. There's another card in here that buffs it instantly from playing from the grave, because you discard on purpose in this deck. And then its flip side is what is it here? Possessor, Princess of Love, Valentina. When this card is put into the graveyard from your field, gain control of target resonator. There's a similar card. I think it's Valentina or something, but you only control it for as long as you control that creature, whereas this one, it dies, you steal it forever. It works really well with another card that's coming up, the same card I mentioned earlier. So Charlotte's Protector. I just play 3. You can go to 4. You can tweak the balances of cards in the deck to fit what you end up dealing with. When this card is put into a graveyard from your hand, draw a card, which works really well with the discard a card, rest target resonator. So you pay the 1 blue or 2 on the flip side to return target some creature to their hand. Discard this card and it replaces itself with another card. Worst case scenario, you can play it for 2 just to have a 5/5 body, but I almost never do that. Next, if you have green in your deck at all, this is a fantastic card. So it's called Sorceress of Heavenly Wind, Melfi. So it's kind of shiny, it's hard to see. So it's 2 drop for 3/6. It's amazing. Quick cast. When this enters your field, prevent all damage. So it was errated recently. So when it says on the card is when it enters, prevent all damage that would be dealt to target J/Resonator this turn. If you played 1 or more cards before playing this, what it was changed to recently is prevent all damage that will be dealt by target J/Resonator this turn.
Which is good against what particular super J/Resonator?
It works fantastic against anything that flips over and just deals a shit ton of damage, like, for example, Sylvia, or...
You can just stop there. Sylvia. Sylvia's the best example of that, right?
Yeah. Or just anything that just deals, like, a ton of damage, but it has to be from a Resonator or a J/Resonator, so... Yeah. But the fact that it's a 2-drop and gives you mana of any color, fantastic.
Yeah, it can also be used on the Lunia when she flips over to the true/false legend side. But honestly, she's just like
she's a toned down Sylvia.
She's a toned down Sylvia.
Totally. And then the final Resonator, all of them goes 1-drop, 1-drop, 2-drop, 2-drop, and then 5.
That's how I count too. 1/1, 1/1, 1 2 5.
Yeah. So Captain Hook, the pirate, you've probably seen it a lot if you play the game at all. So it's a 5-drop. When this card enters your field, choose 1. Put up to 2 target special magic stones on top of their owner's magic stone deck in any order, or return up to 2 target resonators from their owner's hand, to their owner's hand for a 5-drop 1,000. That's pretty good. Get out of here, man. So for 2, it's pretty good. You get enough draw, you'll see it. You could change the amount of them, put it up to 3. That's totally up to you, what you find works. So moving on to the non-creature spells. The first one here is Death Scythe, the Life Reaper. So this works fantastic with Charlotte's Discard, since you can actually return it to your hand by removing 3 cards from your grave from the game. So you can pay a 1 blue on the ruler side, or pay 2 blue on the J ruler side to discard a card. Do whatever you need to do, either tap or return something. And then you can remove 3 other cards from the grave from the game to bounce it back to your hand to discard it. Again, it's a perfect free discard
It's
card.
a good toss out.
Yeah, and if you end up facing against something that has swiftness that you don't want it to swing into you right away, perfect to use against that.
Yeah, pretty much any like J ruler centric deck nowadays.
This with Black Moonbeam is
Yeah,
an instant answer to anything. You have enough card draw. Having just one is fine enough, and we'll get to that card eventually. So this card is from the Black starter deck that came out recently from SDL. It's called Blood of the Mikage. So what it is target J/Resonator you control gains +800 and precision until end of turn, meaning they can swing into whatever it wants, regardless if it's tapped or untapped. At the next end of turn, destroy it. So that plays really well with the flip side of that fight card. This card here plays really well on the flip side, since when it dies, you steal whatever you want from their field, and you intentionally kill it with that card. Just swing in for damage into their tapped creature that you permanently, like you forcefully tapped. Swing into it, kill it, steal one of their big guys, or just put it on it, swing for damage, it dies, you steal something. It doesn't matter.
What's the casting cost of that Persea?
The Persea is 2 for the green side for fighting, 3 for the blue side, 2 blue and 1 colorless.
So essentially for 4, you get a kill out of it or a lot of damage to your opponent directly.
You're not going to
steal
play
one of the
both
things.
on the same turn.
You don't think
so?
so?
It's a 3, and you want to be able to swing for it to get the use out of the buff.
Oh, because
you
won't have swiftness. Eh?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
okay.
so you play it for the 2 side. You fight something. Next turn, you can flip it for 3, or wait on it until another turn passes, or you have energize or whatever for 4. 3 to flip. Want to play that. Swing into something on purpose that you tapped out or whatever, because you're aiming for this deck to go late game. You're gonna, make them lose their field presence early game to get to the late game to, clear their board and steal their good options, right?
Yeah.
So next card, this card is fantastic.
Best one drop.
Best one drop in the
in
entire
Curse
game so
of
far.
The Frozen Casket.
Entire game so
I
far.
wouldn't say entire game.
For the late game that it is now, it's a one drop, turn anything. You get 2 plays out of 1 card with Remnant. It allows you to play it from the grave. Quick cast, play it at instant speed. Target Resonator loses all abilities and becomes a 4/4 bear until end of turn.
Curse of Pigs, man. Curse of Pigs for Force of Will.
It's fantastic. So this plays fantastically with the fight, since it comes in as a 4/5. You pay 1, turn into a bear. Play that for 2. You literally kill anything.
Yeah. Plus, it has a quick cast and Remnant.
Yeah, so you play it for 1, they lose their ability. You play this, you kill it. Your next turn, you could, since this costs 3, you're going to have at least 3. Next turn, you'll have 4. So you flip it for 3 to the other side, the blue side that when it dies, you kill whatever. You Remnant this, turn something else into a 4/4 bear, and swing into it with your 5/5 side and kill it.
Yep, and because it has Remnant, you're running 4 in this deck just like as card slots.
Yeah.
But really, you're running 8.
Yeah.
And they're amazing toss-out cards for your J-Rulers or your ruler side ability.
Yeah.
Because you just play them from your grave.
Now, speaking of great cards that you toss out, Necromancy of the Undead Lord. Fantastic card, especially with Persea, since what it does is added Resonator, becomes a zombie in addition to its own races, gets +2/+2, and whenever a Resonator enters your field, you may add this card from your grave onto that Resonator. So if you end up playing Persea, she comes in as a 4/5, but say you have 2 of these in the grave, they would instantly fly onto her, buffing her by 200 each, thus making it easier to kill almost anything, really. Like,
You just got an 8/9 for 2.
yeah, exactly. And you end up slowing them down early and then playing it and just slowing them down even more by killing more relevant cards. See, everything in here, like, you discard something, yeah, but you tap them out or you return something to their hand, slowing them down, and then you end up killing it with that, or just anything. It's either you bouncing stuff back or you're killing their creatures, and it works fantastically. Next card is Space-Time Anomaly. So this provides, so it has Remnant itself, so play from the grave. Target J/Resonator gains -5/-5 until end of turn. Draw a card. So this plus the 1-drop Cat provide a card draw. There's tons of card draw in this deck. You'll almost never have no hand. So each of these have remnants. So basically, you're playing with 8.
And just like show the camera there. Look at the art on this thing.
It's
like
beautiful.
It's not from the newest set, but my god, it's just like the dual stones that came out with this set. Like I said in my previous video.
Yeah.
Like the art is so like
They're stepping up their game,
well,
definitely.
I mean,
but this is an
always
older
been up
card,
there, you know. It's,
and
like look at this.
and it plays fantastically with Bear Transformation or Charlotte's Water Transformation magic. So
Bear transformation.
That's just what I call
It's
it.
bear.
It turns it into a bear. So for 1, you turn it into a bear. For 2, you kill it, whatever it is, and that's come in handy many times, especially against big Cthulhu.
What's it super good against, huh?
The friggin' 2020 Cthulhu big beast.
Yeah, man. Hey, it's got 6 different instances of indestructible, unless it doesn't have abilities.
That would kind of suck, wouldn't it? Be a shame if you lost all.
That's a nice afterthought you have there. It'd be a shame if it was a 4/4 bear.
And then I killed it. Yeah, that's
See, this is the
happened
reason
many
why I get
times.
pissed off with this game, because of this dude and his freaking bear magic.
Best card of the game so far.
Seriously.
So have these in here just because. So it's Heavenly Gust. So for 2 quick cast, you can choose one, destroy target edition or regalia, and it has an ability called Torrent, where as you play this card, if you played one or more other cards this turn, so as long as you played 1 card previous, it gains the following text: to destroy all editions and regalia your opponents control. That comes in very handy against decks that rely on tons of regalia and they're swinging in with the ruler all the time, or any sort of deck that runs a ton of addition, especially since one of the biggest weaknesses of this deck is Shackles of Ice, I believe it's called. It's a 1-drop field that stops all activated abilities, which is everything that this deck is.
Yep.
So casting it for 2 just to destroy one of those is worth it, but if you end up pulling off the Torrent ability, you can basically clear their board of all regalia and addition.
Which is amazing. You know,
Amazing.
like they're gonna fade out regalia eventually, but there's so much amazing additions, like field additions, creature additions, whatever you have currently in the game right now from Curse of the Frozen Casket and from what's coming up with the Legacy Lost. There's a bunch of really good additions that have been spoiled with that one.
And it's just going to be more and more relevant.
Pretty much.
And so the last card is just, I run 1 Black Moonbeam main board. Worst case scenario is just a card that you end up discarding if they don't run with their J ruler. But what it does is for 2, it is an instant. So same thing as quick cast. Destroy target J ruler. Players cannot chase this card. So the only thing that can stop that card is a card called Wind Secluded Refuge, which is a field that's already in play. Again, another field that you'd want to destroy. Since it's already in field, it can sacrifice itself to stop it, but just having one of these comes in handy.
Yeah, and pretty much
Especially with Death Scythe.
exactly. And if you've got black, honestly, even if you don't have it in your main deck, every deck that I run black in, I put that into my sideboard.
At the very least.
At the very least. Like, it's too good, man.
It is.
2-drop to literally get rid of your biggest headache in a deck, which is the J ruler, right? And
Especially,
yeah, with like Sylvia's and all that jive. And Zeros, holy jeez.
Yeah.
If she doesn't have her owl out. Okay, guys, this has been a Masterfeja. Here, I honestly literally did nothing. This is just my phone, and I happen to be at his house. And this was Dayman, Fighter of the Nightman. I honestly don't get that name, but whatever.
Don't lie, you do.
Okay, fine, whatever, I do. This was his rendition of Charlotte, the Determined Girl deck, one of the most played decks right now. Maybe second to Feasting now?
It depends. It depends. I've seen you play Feed Sting. I've seen another friend of mine play Feed. Well, try to. There are combos with Feed Sting that are really good. Just a matter of time until someone figures out how to
stop it.
Just
but
shut it down entirely. Pretty
Yeah.
much just keep aggro out, right? Like if you've got Dark Arthur or if you've got that one Burn to Cinders or whatever,
Yeah.
like anything that does like huge field stuff. Oh, and of course if you have anything that can get rid of the fields that buff the defense of the elves, it's pretty much a no problem, right? Because
Yeah.
you just gotta stop their board presence.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, this was Masterfeja and Dayman with Charlotte's Determined Girl. Actually, what would you call this deck? Well,
I don't really have a name for it. It's just kind of a dick.
yeah,
I don't play it much since
It's
there's
the
so much control in it. You just deny them all day from having anything nice. So if you want to lose friends, this is the perfect deck to make them cry.
okay, it's the you can't
have nice things.
You can't have nice things, Charlotte deck. Hope you guys like this deck profile. If you want to have just a complete list of the cards in this deck, check out the description. Leave a comment if you have any suggestions for making the deck better. I know that Damon and I are always trying to improve our Force of Will game. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Bye.